Yes. All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good evening. This is SIG Scheduling Meeting. This meeting is recorded as usual, so please behave nice. And yeah, let's get started. So we have two topics from Dominic. And Dominic, you wanna start by yourself?
Yes, sure. Let me share maybe the screen. Unless you can do it quicker than me.
Oh yeah, let me do. I'm
Okay.
opening a lot of tabs. Yes. All right. Is it visible?
Right. So I wanted to go through the P0 and P1 items
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that that we know what is in our scope for today. So one thing is pretty important. I'm not sure if Kanza, you might have missed that because there were a lot of discussions and back and forth changes, but we still want to promote the workload API to beta, and this is still the top priority.
Yeah. This is
Uh,
Maciej's PO, right?
so
No?
it will be probably a
Is it?
separate PR.
It,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's a little bit more like it's like the most of the, like it's primarily what Maciek's PR is, and there will be
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more on top of that to probably a separate PR with like PRR and like the promotion itself.
Okay. So the
And
cat is the same? Is the same cat?
yep.
Okay, okay. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, like I'm totally okay to graduate it.
Okay.
So is there
Right.
any like controversial parts to move it to beta? Like is it any like big changes that we have to make in APIs or whatever to graduate it? No?
Kenzie, if you haven't, please take a look at the document that I sent. It has three parts, but the part one is the basically summarizing our plan for 136. I sent it on chat. In,
Okay.
yeah. So the changes are like so there have been a lot of discussions about this, and we wanted to make sure that we are not missing anything. So there was like this bigger part two and like some other discussions in the community to make sure we all agree uh, on the fact that we believe in stability of this API, right, and our ability to evolve it in a backward compatible way in the future, which
Mm-hmm.
for me is like the criteria for beta promotion, right? And I think more or less we have this consensus. Obviously, like the vision, there are like still different visions in community, like what exactly we should do with this API. But I think we are converging, and overall, everyone agrees that for 136 we should be able to promote to beta with the changes and listed in part one, which are very simple. Basically, we're introducing a pod group runtime object that will be in alpha to address like some concerns about lifecycle, about clarity, like not mixing, both policy that we currently have in workload API and also the runtime state. And the only change in the workload API actually is the rename of pod group to pod group template to basically indicate that it's about the policy about like how the pod group should look like, but it's not describing instances of pod group. So like very, very simple change. And also we need to figure out like what to change exactly in the pod API when it comes to linking to workload and also giving the ability to link to a pod group instance. So rather like simple changes here. And I
Okay.
think, yeah, we have a consensus. Like yesterday we discussed this and also last SIG scheduling meeting. So yeah, but definitely take a look and like let us know whether we have any thoughts. So we
Of
will
course.
aim to send the PR probably someone this week, right? Because we need to fill the PRR by next week. And yeah, hopefully like next week we will be able to review review the cap and yeah, and get it
Okay.
approved. That's the plan.
Sounds good. Heaven?
Yeah, related to that, you asked me a question related to the workload API status and why I closed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this issue, it's related to this change because we are not adding the status anymore to
Mm-hmm.
the workload, but we will go ahead and create the pod group runtime
Oh,
API,
okay.
and we will add the status over there. So the workload API will be just a definition or a policy object.
Okay.
Okay,
That
yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it will be part of the couple pod group API cap, which is the third on the list.
Okay.
The couple pod group API and status is there. Okay, so we have gang scheduling changes, workload preemption and topology hour scheduling from the workload hour scheduling part. So I wonder, can we close those caps? Do you see any outstanding issues that we need to resolve?
What do you mean, can we close? You mean just like approval?
LGTM and merge.
Sorry?
I mean LGTM and merge, the gang scheduling support, for instance.
I think I left a couple points this weekend, and I'm not sure. I haven't checked any response if you left on Monday. I mean yesterday.
Yeah.
I think like our biggest point was the like we discussed last week or last week whether how we should handle like no sure status grace free with this gang or maybe topology scheduling in general. And the other I think I left other points as well, but they are kind of minor, at least minor than that one.
Yeah, I think we
I
had
need to.
discussion about permit, but
Oh
I think
yes,
we more or less agree how it should look like.
I need
Yes,
to check the last response.
yes, so we will reuse the permit gate, at least for now. Probably
Oh, okay.
it should be sufficient, but let's see in the implementation.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So I wonder, so we can definitely like accept the placement if we reach min count, but how would we wait for the desired counts?
Yeah.
What is the plan, Maciek? Do you have to handle it
But
outside of the gate?
for which desired count to start with?
So we have like 5 pods and min count 3. So how we want to?
Yes, so we just try to schedule them. But if still those 3 were like schedulable, we can move like to scheduling them pod by pod, but still we would like to try to schedule those 2 remaining pods in this cycle.
Right, but we want to open the gate on min count and simply keep scheduling within this.
Yeah, like we know that we reached the min count, but we still want to try the rest of the pods.
Okay.
Yeah, just wanted to ask what in this specific scenario that you described, Dominic, what will happen in preemption? Because now we have 5 pods scheduled with min count 3.
Yeah, so you are asking whether we will preempt other pods to schedule the remaining?
Yeah, I see 2 options here. Either preempting like 1 or 2 all the way down to the min count if it helps to schedule another pod with higher priority, or maybe we will always evict all of them.
Well,
even if it's not needed. That's the point.
Not needed, you mean the mean count was already reached, but we still continue preempting, right?
Yeah, assuming the mean count is 3, and for example, preempting a single pod can solve can allow scheduling a higher priority one, right? So we can in practice we can evict one and schedule a higher priority pod instead. That's one option, probably the most efficient one that I see. And the other option is that when we preempt a workload, we preempt all the pods, even if it's not needed. Maybe it should be addressed in the other cap of preemption.
Yeah, so I think
I think that's.
already.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's already mentioned in the workload preemption cap. Like, I think for now, what we are proposing is you define it like there are only two policies. Like you either preempt individual pods or pod groups as a whole. I can imagine like adding more policies like the one you mentioned, like up to min
Like a
count or
mixture.
down to min count. But like let's
Exactly.
start with the mechanism itself, and then we will be adding more policies as needed over time.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think one different point here is like how should we. Okay, so let's say we have 5 pods workload. Mean count is 3, and we already know that 3 pods are schedulable without any preemption. And if we want to schedule 4th or 5th pod, we need preemption. What should we do?
Yeah. We will continue with preemption only if the pods are higher priority.
So basically, we are trying to maximize the number of pods regardless of whether
Well,
mean
you
count
could
is already met
interpret
or
it.
not.
I think we are effectively saying that like higher priority pods are more important no matter if they require preemption or not.
Yeah,
Basically.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
And
So
probably ones that. Sorry, Dominic.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that once we reach the 3 pods that satisfy the mean count requirement, the gate is lifted, the 3 are bound, and then any additional pod can be scheduled on top of that with any possible scheduling strategy, right? Either with like just allocating resources or preempting, and on the 4th and the 5th pod, the gate is already up, so they just go through.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the same like with the basic gang. So we have mean count equals, I don't know, 1, but we still schedule all the pods according to their priority. By the way, do we agree that we add desired count to the basic policy?
Yeah, I mean, what should we do with basic policy in general? Like last release we discussed about whether we should remove it or like you said, whether we should have a desired count field in addition like to the actually there's no field anymore. But yeah, so like do we have any cap right now for like PL to expand basic policy?
Also,
Well, I
how
think
desired count helps. I know that Dominic, you know that, but it's still not very clear.
So in my opinion, it doesn't help that much, because when we have, let's say that we will have to schedule 5 pods, and the time that we start scheduling the pod group, there were only 3 pods visible. So we schedule those 3. So when remaining 2 appears, then we schedule the remaining 2. So there are no scheduling constraints between those pods, so we don't have to schedule them together. The only
But what
thing
if?
that we
Oh yeah,
gain,
sorry. Go ahead.
the only thing that we gain is when we schedule all 5 together. In my opinion, we get the optimization for opportunistic batching, for instance, because we know that all 5 will be scheduled under the same signature. Well, assuming the signature is the same. But if not, they will be like scattered around 2 scheduling attempts. But in terms of, I don't see any other like strong benefit.
But what if topology scheduling is enabled?
But without gang scheduling?
Yeah, with basic policy, I mean.
Well, then of course we won't consider the remaining 2.
Yeah, I mean,
But
if basic policy is used with topology scheduling, and let's say workload has 5 pods, we should consider all 5 pods together. But it's not gang scheduling, so we are okay not to schedule all of them at the same time. But in that case, we don't want to start scheduling until 5 pods are at least created.
okay, so you are saying that there is a use case for topology without gang scheduling, without min count.
I mean, I'm in the first place, I'm on the side where we should remove basic policy. So I'm kind of like, if we create, I'm talking about if we create, if we use basic policy, we have to like deal with this kind of topology aware scheduling and basic policy scenario.
Wojtek, I saw you had a thumbs up.
No, that was related to Kenzei's comments that like we should support effectively the cases where we require we have topology constraints but without gangs, basically,
Yeah.
where the desired count actually helps making us better decision, right?
Yeah, so basically like desired count would be when we start scheduling, and on the other hand, minimum count gang policy is like when we like start
Probably.
binding pods. Yeah, so like these numbers are kind of different between them each other.
So it's sort of a hint to the scheduler that that's the number of
Yeah.
pods that will be eventually created by the workload. Although in many cases the number of pods varies based on some HPA policy or something like that, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, like I'm not totally sure about the implementation details, but let's say like okay, we have 5 pods and the controller manages those 5 pods, like replica set controller or whatever, job controller or whatever. They are creating pods maybe one by one, right? Or at least scheduler will receive the pod creation event one by one. And then the scheduler could schedule them just one by one, right? So if that works like that, the topology aware scheduling or other like constraints around workload would be like working properly.
Not.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I know there has been a discussion about whether we should remove the basic policy. I'm personally against doing that because like when discussing the future evolution of the API, and for example, properly covering the cases like inference and leader worker set, right? Then there is a use case for basic policy. So like, but at a higher level. So like for the example for LWS, the typical use case is we need to gang schedule leader together with workers, right? But when it comes to replicas of leader workers, then we don't necessarily want to gang schedule them, right? Because it's about horizontally scaling the application. We just want to add more replicas.
I think it's more than that. I think that basically we eventually want like everything to be scheduled via like workload scheduling algorithms.
Like, yes,
so like, effectively, like we already know there are like gazillion of use cases of workloads that are not gangs, and we should support them, and they should be like we should be able to reflect them in a workload object. I think that the comment from Kensei was like, or the original discussions, the way I remember them, wasn't about do we want like basic policy, but rather do we want basic policy from the beginning.
Yeah. So like, I think there's 2 points, like, or maybe 3 points. One is like, even if we don't have basic policy, for example, let's say like gang policy with min count 1, isn't it the same as the basic policy?
Exactly.
Or like, yeah,
So
there's
we
like,
can say now that it is, right? But I think eventually those two may diverge, right? We may want to like
yeah, so
differentiate for
may
them.
verge eventually, right? So that's the reason I'm saying do we really need a basic policy from day one?
So I would
Because
say
we don't have any difference
if
right
we
now.
were creating this API now, then I would be all ears to like design it properly. But given we already have this basic policy, right, and we see use cases in the future for like
Yeah, so like,
I would say let's keep it, right, because that's my
yeah, because we already released it. Yes, I mean like this, removal discussion is what's happening at when like at the Rust release, where we have not yet created workload API. So I agree that given we already have basic policy like implemented, so it's okay not to explicitly remove it from now. Yeah, Roman.
Yeah, just a small comment. Matt, you mentioned the leader worker set, and I know it's not the time for it, and there will be discussions about it in the future, but I think that when you want to gang the leader and the workers, and there is another replica of the entire workload where there is another set of leader and worker, those should still be ganged. There is no point creating workers
I
of
think it depends
another.
on the use case, right? If this is inference, then technically there is like no need, right? Those are like different replicas of the same thing, like just you're adding more like to scale horizontally. But
Right,
like
but there is it's still at least one use case where you do need.
Well, I'm not saying like
and
there might be use cases where we also want to gang schedule everything, right? Like for some like training, like I'm not sure, but yeah, I can imagine.
Within the replica, the leader and the worker they go together. They cannot, like workers of one replica cannot suddenly work with leader of another.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess like it's nice actually that we have this flexibility with basic and gang, and we can like use different combination, right? So, all right.
Right, bringing back to the original topic.
Right. So I
yeah.
understand we're not changing anything. Are we adding desired count then? Or do we potentially we could move it to topology aware scheduling cap?
Yeah, I agree.
Dominic,
I
I
mean,
think that in the discussions where the desired count was presented by Heba and Andre, they talked about it. I think they interpreted it somehow differently. They thought that it will allow them to gang schedule additional pods without mutating the min count. So it, I think might also be confusing. Like what's desired count? Maybe it should be named differently, like a policy that says how many pods the scheduler waits to see before it starts scheduling. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, desired count is maybe not super strict what it means. Well, we will define it. Like
Yeah.
scheduler will wait for that amount of pods to show up, and
Yeah.
I think
And the point here is whether we want to do it this way or not. And if we want to do it, is it gonna be another cap or is it gonna be included in, for example, the modular scheduling cap like Dominic said? What do you think?
I think I wouldn't make another cap. I think like probably
Okay.
topology or scheduling cap is a good place if we want to do that for 146. I mean, yeah.
because
And
otherwise we would have to have like a new gate in gang scheduling cap or desired count, right?
yeah, and for now, the desired count for basic policy is in the gang scheduling cap PR, so we can
Okay.
move that to the task.
Yeah, right. If you add a new field, then it should be alpha field, right? So it cannot be graduated
Yes.
to
Yes.
beta straight away. Yeah.
So from
So
that
we need,
perspective, it actually makes sense to move it to tasks to not introduce like to not mix a cap that is both in alpha and in beta as well.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, Heba?
I was thinking since yesterday meeting about having two policies. The basic, yes, I know that we agreed that we will have the two policies, the basic and gang, but that um, will put us in position that we need we need to turn off this, turn on that, like it's like switching between these two, or like making a way or having a way for the user to choose which policy to enable. And this is okay for the manual workload API. This is okay if the user will create the workload API. But for the automated, or like the workload that will be created by default using the controller, um, are we going to just assume the policy that will be created in such configuration, or what do you think?
Yeah. I think we need to, like, at least initially, like we will see, like we have like larger discussion to have, like how exactly expose different features to user. But like for start, I think we should do what we discussed yesterday. So like take simple use cases like the job with parallelism larger than one, and assume that it's gang, and then we create like gang policy and like ignore basic policy for like 136 release, and this, we can get back to it
Okay.
next release.
I wanted to revisit it again because this is the last time that we can discuss this before, like having it in beta. So, okay.
Okay. So I think this way the gang scheduling should be pretty clear. I think we can focus on finishing the review of Kanze, and hopefully we will.
Yeah, I'll revisit all the parts again and hopefully just approve it.
Okay. Same on my side. Okay, so the couple pod group API, we discussed it yesterday a lot. Unless someone wants to comment, but I guess no. So other two, workload preemption. So it looks good from my perspective. It's ready
I think,
to be implemented.
yeah, I think it's pretty ready, except one point that I left, but I haven't checked the latest comment on it.
I was out last week, so I didn't even catch up on the comments. So
Okay.
like I'm going to go over those like later today, and it's missing still PRR. So like I will try to update the cap like later today or early tomorrow at
Okay, sounds good.
latest, and we'll ping
Okay.
you then for another
Yeah.
pass.
I think it's
Okay,
mostly looking good, and the like one point that is in the discussion is like how we should handle when a like when a place that is made by preemption, like past preemption, is taken over by a higher priority parts.
Yeah.
That is the only discussion that I have in my mind.
I think
Like
that Maciek like added a comment about that, like how we can handle. But like I will take a look and
yeah.
get back to you.
Right.
Okay, so topology we're scheduling, same thing. Overall,
Oh
it
yeah.
looks good.
Yeah, I need to check it again. I think I haven't checked. I haven't got time to check it in the last weekend, so I have to check it.
Okay, so from P1s we also have extended resources from the array, so that's why I put on this list. I'm started looking into all other caps. Actually, I haven't checked this one, but I assume that there are no changes from the previous release.
You mean
Because they were
for which cap?
extended resources.
Yes, so they planned to graduate to beta last release, but they didn't manage to match everything. So it shouldn't have like much work on the scheduler side, if any.
There should be no updates to cap, if I understand correctly, right? Only.
There was only an update to set it to beta for 136.
Okay, so I think we can quickly look into our dashboard to
Which
see
dashboard?
other.
This one?
I can paste. Yeah, it's
Okay.
and on PR.
Yeah. Sorry, which one?
I think this one. Let me see.
There's a lot.
Or to release 136.
Okay, so the enhancements for the release will be in the enhancements tab.
Mhm.
These are the enhancements for
Okay.
1.36.
21. We have a lot. DOA, a lot of DOAs and
Yes.
a few of, I don't know what this one, cluster autoscaler and okay.
So I haven't looked into everything, but there is ongoing discussion. Well, of course, our concern is review capacity and potential impact on the changes that conflict with the changes that we are doing right now. So, for instance, reserve for it's a good question whether we want to have it, and the same like podgroups in workload API. So definitely it would be great to have all of those. I think there is a reasonable plan for both. It doesn't matter whether we want to try implementing those, simply assuming that it has lower priority. So if we can't make it, it will have to slip over to the next release. Well, what do you think about that?
Sorry, which caps are you talking about?
Reserve for and adding
Wait,
resource claims to workload API. Reserved
Number
for
11, I think number 11.
number 11. Oh, reserved for, okay.
yeah. So for
But
reserve for, we have like a pretty nice plan, I think. So instead of putting pods to reserve for, we can put pod groups, and it will behave the same. Well, the same. What we get from it, we don't have to list all the pods that belong to pod group to the DRA resource claim. So I think this is a nice change. It should be mainly on the DRA plugin side. So it would require only our review. But adding the work resource claim to workload API would be complementary to that, I would say, because it would allow us to control the pod group resource claim lifetime. Yeah.
it all depends on our capacity, right? To be honest.
Right. So here we have like more work with the API, and I guess on the controller, which would create resource claims. So theoretically, it's not heavily dependent on scheduler itself.
I don't know what do you
anyone
think.
has
I mean, so
some
yeah,
opinion whether it's
I mean, like everyone,
or
I think everyone agrees that if we have a time, of course, it's nice to have, but the point is who has enough time to review it, and I mean review caps and PLs.
yeah. So one way of doing it would be to say let's not work on it. Another way would be to let's treat it best effort, and
Yeah.
if we manage, let's do it. If we know
Yeah.
we cannot, we would have to like track closely the priorities that we have and review things that has higher priority and leave those which have lower.
Yeah. We have a lot of enhancements that we want to handle if we have time, and it all depends on our capacity and which priority we should put on which cap. I remember that there's another incoming one, right? From like around in-place pot resizing.
Yeah,
You,
I think we agreed that it won't get into 136
oh, okay, that's nice.
because it will require like deeper changes in scheduler, and I think we don't
Yeah, I agree.
have time to think about that. So I would propose to put like P3 everywhere where we don't have any priority.
Okay,
I
so
can,
P3 by default.
yeah.
And someone would come to complain it if they say
Yeah,
it's not P3.
yeah. I can talk to device management working group.
Okay, thank you.
Whether they want to prioritize something. I can also like take a closer look into those enhancements and
Like
probably
for the array, we have prioritized list of their. So we have their priorities on the enhancements for the array. If you want to adapt to those.
they have a slide, right?
Yes, I pasted it in the doc of our meeting.
Setting, sorry, where? Documentation, okay. Oh, this one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
it's like
they're saying extended resources P0 and okay.
Resource claim status, it's not ours.
Disabled false question mark.
Yeah, I think what matters for us is P1s. So we have device stains and tolerations, prioritize alternatives, consumable capacity, partitionable devices. Well, yeah, I would say those priorities are pretty flat. So considering that the array for us, more or less, it might be, we can raise priority to P2s if anything is like more important for the array.
Yeah,
the extended
I agree.
resources is P1, it's debatable, but yeah. Oh, it's P0 here, so yeah, I think
Yeah, it's P0 here.
Yeah, so I think that's okay. So yeah, I will watch like how those caps, in which shape they are, and I will try to keep an eye on it.
All right. So before going to the last topic, do you have any other things to discuss around caps?
I don't think so.
So, Kun, are you here? Sorry if
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pronounce your name incorrectly.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Uh, uh, I want to talk about adding an extension point after the post filter. That will always be executed, because in scheduling framework, when the post filter return the unschedulable and unresolvable or the success, the other post filter plugins will not be executed. So if we do some rollback or some other executions, it will be skipped. That will cause some unexpected behavior in our for our plugin. So maybe we can add another extension point after the post filter. How do you think?
What if we just return, like, what if your plugin is listed at the top of post filter? Then that
For
post filter
example,
is, yeah.
I can give an example. For example, we have an deploy. We have another co-scheduling plugin in our scheduler. The co-scheduling this plugin will roll back the whole pod group. Will roll back all the pods in the pod group after the preemption
Okay. So
is built.
you want to execute something after the preemption.
Yes, if the preemption succeeds, the other post filter will not be executed.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this may be the same when we run the DRA plugin after the preemption.
So I think the point would be whether we have a strong use case of it or not in the first place. Like, I mean, I understand that it's not, yeah, I cannot come up with any like solution that can achieve this behavior, like call this function every after or always after the preemption or something like that. That so like as you see, like we have a lot of caps around our work order we're scheduling, and honestly, like we cannot prioritize this until we get like strong motivation to drive it.
Okay, no problem. Can I add a new enhancement to track the issue, or if I have time,
I mean,
maybe I
yeah,
can.
I think you can start with creating an issue in Kubernetes repository so that we can, gather and discuss whether, uh, like, is it like strong requirement or some other like,
Okay, I
yeah,
understand.
factors. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's my question.
Yep.
Thank you.
Or we have 10 minutes left. Does anyone have any other topics today, or we can wrap it up?
I have a topic. Sorry for
Yeah,
that. I
go
opened
for it.
I opened a thread on Slack related to it, which
Hmm.
is I was it's going back to workload API and pod groups,
Okay.
and I was proposing to just add the resource claim template to the pod group to not plug the DRA for 1.36. And we can just start as simple as add the resource group, add the resource claim template on the pod group level, deleted or deallocate the resource claim with the pod group and create it with the pod group, and that's it. John, Martin, I think they were okay with that, but I would like to see what Wojtek and Dominic and other like see about this.
What do you think, Dominic?
Yeah, I think I already I was supposed to talk about that. I think we can try, because that's basically a change to the API and controller.
Yeah.
So it does not change too much the scheduler itself.
Mhm.
So that maybe that's a good candidate to try doing it this release cycle.
Yeah, and John will drive this already. So we just need to review the PR the cap to make sure that like everything is okay. But other than that, all what we need to do from our side as SIG scheduling is to add the resource claim template to the pod group alpha API. Does this make sense? Or
Yeah, so that would be mainly the change in the API from the
exactly.
scheduler.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
my question, I'm not opposed, but my question is like how exactly it will be used, because like if we like pod group, like we are not exposing the pod group like concepts yet into anything higher level. So like how exactly they are going to use that? Like, who will be propagating in this template, and based on what?
I propose to have it in the pod group template, to be honest.
No, that I understand, but like,
Yeah.
who will be setting it and based on what? Like, I'm assuming that some controller will be setting it but based on what input?
To be honest, I cannot see how the controller will be able to set it. So my expectation, or like how my mind is working, is if the user wanted to assign specific resource claim to this workload, they have to update the workload themselves. Similar to like the resource claim right now, you have to create it yourself. So I believe they will have to update the workload.
But
Either
if you want to if you want to assign the specific resource claim, then template doesn't help you.
my proposal is to have like two options basically, which is like the pod resource claim. Pod resource claim has two options: either setting the resource claim or the resource claim template. So if the user already created the resource claim, they can just like configure it in the workload. Otherwise, if they added the resource claim template, the controller will have to create this resource claim.
So basically, you're saying there will be only right now we only see a way to use it when user manually creates it.
Manually, yes. Because okay, I'm not expert in DRA yet, so I'm still getting like familiar little bit with the DRA, but I can see that most use cases for the DRA is being created manually anyway. I don't see any controller that just create the resource claim automatically. Yeah, I didn't see that as far as I know.
Okay.
So
So this is like
I think it would,
that we need to
I
cover,
think it
right?
would be important for me to like understand better the use cases and how exactly it will be used. Like, even if it's manually, I think that just putting it into the context of what we are talking about. So like, some people are creating the workload object, and then what happens and when. Like, I think just putting the high level like user story into that, I think that would be super important for me to like understand like how that fits basically.
okay, I added little bit, like of this details in the current cap, but I will try to add the full use case, like a detailed use case for that. But again, it's a pod group. We wanted to assign this resource claim to these pods in this pod group.
Yeah,
Right. I mean,
I think
the use case itself and the idea makes sense to me. I would like to understand better like how exactly it will be used.
I think the good question is how currently shared resource claims are created. I'm not certain about this. Who exactly creates those resource claims and when? But basically, this mechanism should replace that mechanism of pre-existing resource claims.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I mean, like, I want to avoid a situation where like it will effectively somehow conflict with our other caps, that where like the manual interactions will not be possible because there will be other workflow. And so like, I think we need to understand like what exactly will be happening. Because at the high level it makes sense, but I can't yet see exactly how that works.
Okay, if we are open to have it, I can, like extend, like this section in the cap for the pod group. If it's like no, like we would not go with this, and like there's no time, there's no way for 1.36, I will just ignore it for now.
Can we have it in a separate PR? I think like I would like to decouple those, because I think pod group is like pretty important one here. Like the DRA template, the resource crate template or resource crate in general, I think it's important, but I think it's like there is a chance that we will not converge on that. I would like to, but like there is a chance we will not converge, and I would like to decouple those. So like if possible, like can you have like let's open it as a separate PR and have the discussion there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, totally agree. Like we can spend some time to discuss it, but as a separate thing.
Okay, sounds good.
Right. Any other last minute topic? Cool. So thanks for everyone joining today. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.